everyone, my name is Shauna, in case you don't know, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the vacation book tag, which was created by Steve Donahue. I want to warn all of you that I have a massive headache right now, so I'm going to try and be as put together and coherent in my thoughts as I can in this video, but if I stumble over my words, it's probably thanks to the headache. I keep getting headaches that are slicing through my eyeball. Don't know what they're about. They sort of suck, but I'm gonna push through it. So Steve posted his original tag for this video on February 18th, 2020. So there's one question that isn't as applicable today. I mean, it sort of is, but it's more fitting for the start of the pandemic, but I'm still gonna address that question when I get to it in this video. I love vacations. I'm hoping to go on more. I really want to visit every state in the US someday, so that's one of my goals. So this year I have a vacation plan to go to Chicago, Illinois, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm trying to see if maybe I can squeeze in one more trip, maybe Connecticut, New Hampshire, or Missouri. I've been planning my vacations based on the Comic-Cons in different states, so that's why it's those specific states that I'm mentioning. So there's just 9 different prompts here. The final one is just tag people, so I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to do the first 8 prompts. So the very first question is, what's your favorite book about somebody taking a vacation? So here's the thing, I don't really read books about people taking vacations. I have read books where there are characters who have gone on a vacation, but never really revolves around them, so I'm just going to choose one of the ones where a character went on a vacation, and that book was This Used to Be Easier. This Used to Be Easier is a sapphic romance by Katia Rose. I'm not going to tell you exactly where one of the characters travels to, but there is a character who goes on a impromptu vacation to a different city in Canada, because this whole book takes place in Canada. So there's these 2 girls who used to be best friends, and one of them was living in a different city in Canada going to college, and she was supposed to have an internship, and her internship fell through, so she is forced to go back to her small town and live there with her family. And this of course means that she's going to bump into this girl who used to be her best friend but isn't really her best friend anymore. So in this small town they are somewhat forced together, and they start to rekindle the feelings that they had for each other in the past. One of the characters in the story takes an impromptu vacation, and she goes to a different city in Canada, and it's really fitting, this impromptu vacation, but I can't give you more information about it without spoiling a major plot point. This is a really good book that I really recommend if you're into small town romances or sapphic romances, or if you're just looking for a fun new romance to try. Check out This Used to Be Easier by Katia Rose. Question number 2, do you read travel writing, and if so, favorites? I honestly don't really read travel writing. I think I've only read one piece of writing that is considered travel writing, and that was for a creative nonfiction writing class that I took. But honestly, I don't really read travel writing. I have some on my shelf back there. I think maybe it's just 2 books on my shelf. Wait a second, I don't know if any of you remember this, but you know Dan and Phil, and how they were at the height of their popularity, and they went on a tour, The Amazing Tour Is Not on Fire, and then they wrote a book, Dan and Phil Go Outside. Does that count as travel writing? Because if that does, I guess that would be a favorite of mine, because I did enjoy that book, and I did end up going on the tour, so it's very nostalgic to read that book and look at it. So I'm just going with that one for this prompt, but generally I don't really read travel writing. It's just not my cup of tea. Question number 3, what are your books on vacation rituals? Okay, so my books on vacation rituals are to bring enough books to have at least 50 pages to read per day, because I try to read 50 pages per day. That's how I read so much. People are always like, how are you reading 100 books a year? It's because I force myself to read at least 50 pages a day, and I fight my slumps really hard by saying I have to read 50 pages a day even if I'm in a slump. So most of the time I try and bring one physical book and then my Kindle, because my Kindle has tons of books on there, so that can make it so that I have enough pages to read for an entire vacation. On vacation, I read before bed, and also whenever I'm on vacation, I try and buy myself at least 1 book if I can. I went on vacation to Seattle recently, and I walked around trying to find a bookstore to get a book, and I was in this suburb of Seattle. I couldn't find any bookstores, and I was like, what the fridge? But generally, I try to get at least 1 book every time I'm on vacation.
I was permitted to...
My laptop won't stop randomly playing the Fantastic Beasts audiobook. Literally, I'll look away from my laptop for 1 sec, then hear Eddie Redmayne's voice, and I look back and it's playing. I don't know what's going on. It just did that. That was really weird. Okay, next question is, what's your favorite book you found / read first while on a vacation? I don't know. I read so many books when I'm on vacation that I don't know like what my absolute favorite is, but one that I did enjoy was 10 by Gretchen McNeil. This book was fun for me to read, especially while on vacation, because it takes place in a like island off of the like Pacific Northwest, and I don't remember the specific island's name, but like I've either been to that island or at least I've been to like similar ones, so I could really picture it. This was also my first like proper horror book, so it was really like fun to read, but it was also really like scary. And I was just so immersed in it because I could picture it so clearly because of the vacations that I take, because I live in the Pacific Northwest. My grandfather used to own a sailboat, and so I would like go on the sailboat with him to like different islands and stuff. So it was really cool because this book, I could like picture myself on this island that I've gone to on past vacations. But I was reading it while I was in Cannon Beach, which is a beach town in Oregon. And yeah, I think this one also stands out to me in terms of all the books I've read on vacations too, because honestly, like, I don't read horror that much, and this was my first like dive into horror, and it was the first time that I actually liked something scary. So yeah, I'm going for 10 by Gretchen McNeil for this question. Question number 5, have you ever light fingered a book from a vacation stay? That means stealing, right? Right? I haven't done that. I don't like stealing. Also, like, if I'm in a vacation and I find a book that I want to try to start reading, and it's in like a vacation house I'm staying at, it's in like a hotel, it's at like someone's house I'm staying at, the problem is like I don't want to start reading it while I'm there because I don't want to like get invested in the book and then have to go back home and leave the book there because I would feel guilty taking it with me. So yeah, I don't really like finger books. Question number 6, some of your favorite books set in exotic locales. I'm just gonna go with like countries that I don't live in. So like the UK, Harry Potter obviously takes place there, and I've read lots of books that take place in the UK. Dreidel to the Grave I read, and most of that book takes place in Argentina. You know, the Secrets of Dumbledore screenplay, that takes place a lot in Germany. I'm trying to think if there's any others that I can think of off the top of my head. Not really. Oh, and Dreidel to the Grave, because that's the only one that I mentioned that isn't like super duper famous. Dreidel to the Grave is a story that plays on the conspiracy theory that Hitler survived and went to Argentina. So it makes that conspiracy theory real, and it is about this guy who is trying to go kill Hitler. So it's really fascinating to me, and most of it takes place in Argentina because of this conspiracy theory, which is actually a really interesting conspiracy theory. I mean, I feel like the conspiracy theory probably isn't true, but it is fascinating to read about, even though it's like horrifying to think about. But I, for some reason, have fallen down rabbit holes of getting really invested in that conspiracy theory. Question number 7, here's the one that would be more fitting for the start of the pandemic, but I didn't do this tag at the start of the pandemic. This one was, do you think the coronavirus will kill us all? No, but I think it is killing a lot of us, and I think we would be fools to pretend otherwise. I absolutely hate the coronavirus, and there's like 2 major reasons why I hate it. 3 major reasons. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I hate that it's killing so many people. Second of all, I hate that it's killing people that I know. I lost one relative. I want to say he was like my, I don't know, like second cousin or something. I don't know. It's on my dad's side of the family. I lost a relative. And then I lost someone that I really care about, and like I worked at a retirement center, so an assisted living facility for seniors for a little while, and one of my favorite residents who I had somewhat of a bond with, and this resident was also my dad's friend, he passed away from COVID. I also hate COVID because my grandfather got COVID, different grandfather than the one with the sailboat, and we didn't know this at the time. Apparently, if you had a stroke and you get COVID, COVID can mimic your stroke symptoms. So it'll make it seem like you're having a stroke again, but honestly you're not, and it's just mimicking the symptoms. So like, I thought my grandpa was literally gonna pass away. He's okay now. I mean, he's not okay physically because he just has not been doing well for a while, but like, I had to say my goodbyes to him because I thought I was gonna lose him, and that was really freaking harsh. But apparently he just had COVID and was mimicking the stroke symptoms, so he's back to like somewhat normal now, but his health still isn't great. And the third freaking reason why I hate COVID, or maybe the fourth, I've said a lot of reasons why I hate COVID, is because COVID is really bringing out the ableist people. And it's so hard for me as someone who's immunocompromised and disabled to see people being like, COVID is done, we can go back to normal, we don't have to mask anymore. Meanwhile, there's like me and thousands, if not more, of other people who are immunocompromised and disabled who can't go about their normal lives because other people won't wear masks around them, and it's just really difficult. Like, I had COVID earlier this year and it hit me really hard, and I was super lucky that it didn't do worse, but like I am super high risk with COVID, so like I have to do everything to take care of myself, but other people around me are like, I'm healthy, I don't have to wear a mask, and I'm like, hey, if you care about me and want to see me, please wear a mask so that I literally don't get sick, you know? My brother keeps trying to call me, so I gotta wrap up this video, and the final prompt is, what was the last book you read while on vacation? I need to look up the author of this book. I went to Salem, Oregon, where I have a friend who lives there. Salem is the capital of my state, and yeah, I went there to hang out with my friend and to watch the second Lord of the Rings film, because we were gonna watch the third one in theaters and then she got sick, so we didn't watch the third one in theaters, but it's okay. It was still really fun to see my friend. But while I was there, I read Megan, which is by Carol, I don't know how to say her last name, Llewellyn? And this is a historical family saga, and I didn't personally like Megan very much. Like, it's so deceiving because it's so like triggering and graphic in the depictions of sexual assault, and like that was weird to me because there was some like spicy scenes that they hinted at, but they didn't go into detail for that. They only went into detail on like sexual assault, and I was like, what the frick? And also just I didn't really care for any of the characters. But yeah, I didn't like the book, but I read it while I was on vacation, so yeah. So I need to go call my brother back since he keeps trying to call me, but that was really all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me if you haven't already. I hope all of you stick around to watch my next video, and until next time, goodbye!